Today I'm gonna interview Emin Gulu, Azerbaijan hyperpolyglot writer and filmmaker, and he speaks 25 languages and he is the founder of English in 20 days. He applied his method to other languages as well, such as Russian, Spanish, and German. Hi, Emin Bey. I'm so glad you are here and you accepted my invitations. How many languages do you speak?
Well, I actually now speak 25 languages, but I don't count the Turkic languages. There are many, I mean, approximately 20 that I don't count them either because, okay, I speak Azerbaijani and Turkish and also Kazakh, Uzbek, and other Turkic languages. But
Wow.
I don't take them into consideration because this is the different dialects of my own language. I have
How many languages do you speak fluently?
No, normally I speak 25 languages because I have to, because I've worked with them. I write books about these languages, and the learning books for that languages. You have seen my English in 20 days.
Exactly.
Now
Yeah.
I'm working on. Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm working on. Now I'm working on some other languages also. I just finished Russian. Now I'm working on German, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese. But in upcoming 2 months, I'm going to work on Chinese, Korean, and Japanese.
Yeah, can you explain a little bit more? What method do you use in your book, for example, in this one, on in your books in general?
My method is based on seeing the language as a map. Because
that's interesting.
It doesn't come. Have you ever noticed that people cannot understand the whole canvas if they don't see the details as as a properly placed in a properly placed order.
Yeah.
Because there must be a chain between them, and you have to feel the chain. If you don't feel the chain between the details, you cannot.
I absolutely agree.
See the whole canvas.
So first you have to get the whole picture, and then you can. Then you learn the details. Yeah. I absolutely agree with this.
That's why the book contains all the detail of the language in a very properly placed manner. And after that, I explain, let's say in each of the lessons, you see the questions about all parts, about each day in the book. You see the questions. And this is a method I called frame. I'm framing the topic. When you frame the topic, you are sure that there is nothing outside of that frame. So suppose you learn modality, or let's say modal verbs in any language. If you don't know, let's say, what a person should know about the modal verbs of English language, he or she will always look for something else, because mind or conscious is not calm about the topic, because you think maybe there is something that I don't know, maybe there is something else that I have to know. But when you see everything in that frame, going through one by one for all these questions and answering or finding the answers to those questions, that means you know everything you should know about the modal verbs of English, let's say. I mean, I give it as an example because we can speak about many different things, not only modal verbs. That's what I'm trying to achieve in all my books. Like in Russian also. Russian grammar is very, very sophisticated, not because it's fantastic, not because it is good, because the Russian grammar, let's say, it's very, it's very messy. I mean, it was made artificially. So now I put it through my method, and now it's very clear in my book. And you can see the details that you can learn for 6 and 7 years in a very little period of time, because it is properly placed, and I found all the connections which you can find, but it takes a lot of time. But I made them or put them in a very proper position and algorithm that you can see it's very clear and very fast. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. In your book,
Right,
I found an interesting advice. Önce anlamaya çalışma, demeye çalış. So don't try to understand first, try to say.
Okay.
What do you mean by
don't
that?
Try to understand first, try to say first. Before playing good songs, you have to know, or you have to feel the instrument. I mean, that's why we call it equilibristica in Russian. It means minima technique. I mean, you have to learn physically and feel as one solid organism with the instrument. And as it in the language, when you learn language, you must first learn how to work with it, how to say it, not only understand, So
yeah,
it's like
I find it very
like
interesting.
sport. Maybe
because,
okay, maybe for me it was like this.
Yeah, I find it very interesting because usually experts say that we should understand first and then try to speak, and you say the opposite.
Well, I know through many years that I've been learning languages and trying to teach people, it has been 20 years. Except, I mean, besides doing my other professions, I was also teaching. Not only because it was a business for me, but it was like part of experimentation. Because every time I was working with people, I was making notes how they understand in this term, how they understood this way, they understand better. So I was making my notes all these years, and I came to an idea that maybe official language learning says one thing, but I felt it on my own. How is it to learn a language?
I get
So
it, because
first
it means
you have
that,
to work with this.
yeah, you make
Yes,
it yours,
not
actually.
only this, but anyway, yes, but anyway, language is at 3 points: is ear, tongue, and the eyes. And eyes, because many people learn by reading. I hate it, because learning language must be first with the ear, but not for understanding, but hearing and then saying. Because when you hear from a native speaker and then try to imitate the sound, the pronunciation and all the stuff, you learn maybe a little bit slower, but you learn correctly.
Let me ask you another question. When did you start studying languages, and why?
Well, but if you ask me about the first encounter, it is a different thing. But I started normally learn my first language. I mean, not native, but I have 2 native languages because I learned them in the same way. Because before, in my times, Azerbaijan was still in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So we know Russian and our own language, Azerbaijani, very good as the native. As a teenager, I felt that I could learn languages very easy, because after a week I was answering to all people in Persian, but I didn't want to learn it. I was just hearing and remembering it. But when I was 17, I started to learn English, but I had a voracious, interest in language learning, but I didn't know why. When I was 17, in 2-3 weeks, I was very good. I was very good, even that good that I could correct the mistakes of the teachers. I mean, of my
Wow.
teachers in
Yeah.
school. In 2-3 weeks, not because I was a clever guy. No, I was learning as a monster, day and night.
How?
But it was not a. It was, well, through the music.
Well, let me ask you another question. What do you think about studying grammar in as a very first step when you start a language? I mean, many people start a language by learning grammar, studying grammar, and they don't focus on listening and speaking, but they think that they should learn grammar first. And when they perfectly know the language or the grammar structure, they can start speaking.
I don't say there is a strict rule about that, no. But the best way to do all together in a mixed way. Well, I do this, I mean, but for me, learning language is a different thing, because after knowing 5, 7 and other languages, you learn other languages as the continuation of the previous languages, not the new language.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But for new starters, I cannot suggest learning this way, because actually grammar of any language is not that hard if you approach properly, in a proper way, if you approach correctly. Learning languages starting from grammar is okay, but not the best way. It's okay.
What is the best way? What is
the best way is, as I started when I was 17, I just took okay, you will laugh. I believe me, you will laugh. I took the Newsweek, took one page from Newsweek magazine, and I started to learn every sentence and musically pronouncing it like in the rhythm, because rhythm makes your articulation to get accustomed to language as it sounds. Like, well, let's say one sentence, let's say, if I remember, I called an open meeting of this institution this morning, and I was trying to learn I opened, okay, Y-E-D, I. This is a past tense. I, it's me. The, okay, this is article. What does article
so
do?
Actually analyzing the
asking
text.
This, yes, only analyzing. Even now, I learn everything by analyzing.
And have you any suggestions how to learn or how to memorize words?
For me, language, learning words is a 5 different steps. Not stepping, I mean, it's not step, but 5 different rules, different rules. First is finding the making fun of the sounding of a word. Let's say skirt in English sounds in my own language as covering. Anyway, skirt is covering legs, earth. And this is what I try to find.
Connections.
And there is
links.
There is one very unique and individual matter in this whole issue. There is one individual nuance. It is you have to be fast. Your brain must be fast, very fast. And the second rule is, I call it zigzag. So don't let your brain learn words in order. Always change the places of words. If you read, let's say, the big list of words, don't read it from start to end. Sometimes start from the middle, sometimes start from the bottom, sometimes start from the beginning. Yes, always ruin that order.
The original order, absolutely.
Yes, because it is second. The third is I try to find meaningful connection.
Yeah.
Okay, some people might say you cannot find a meaningful connection to all the words.
I know
Believe me,
what you
you
mean.
can.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Believe me, you can. Believe me, you can. And the fourth is I always try to learn the words, paying very, very strict attention to them. I mean, suppose just you started to learn, let's say, English many years ago. And do you remember at first, there were some words that you memorized very quickly? Everybody who sometimes tried to learn any language or English, let's say, they remember 5 words. If they stop starting for them, they were very, eager to start, and they paid very good attention to that words. That's why they will never forget those words, not because they learned it properly, no, because they paid attention.
Thank you very much again, Emin Bey, and
thank you very much. Grazie.
Buona giornata, buona serata.
Buona serata.
Ciao, ciao.
Ci vediamo.
We had a very interesting conversation with Emin Gulu, a hyperpolyglot who speaks 25 languages and studies many other languages. You can find his contact info in the description box. To sum up, as you see, learning languages can be easy if you know how to do it. When you analyze and observe the subject of your study, you get its structures, you start understanding its nature, and finally you can get it yours. We talked about how to learn grammar, how to remember words, which actually can cause some trouble to many language learners. If you are interested in knowing more about how we remember words and how we can learn grammar effectively, I will leave some links in the description box to my articles on these topics. Subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to watch more videos like this. Like this video and share with your friends and people who might be interested in how to learn languages in an intelligent way. Thank you for watching.